For sure. So, dang, I didn't know it was that long ago that we met. That was
Yeah.
2018 when I started at the
Yep.
university, Maharshi International in Fairfield, Iowa. I went there for my degree in Ayurveda, Integrative Health, and then that's when I started TM, Transcendental Meditation. That's when I started practicing. Before then, I always thought of myself as this restless seeker. Got to a point where, I was in and out of the prison system during my 20s and no longer wanted to continue living the lifestyle that I was living,
Yeah.
really didn't know which steps I should be taking from there. So this was 2010, that third prison sentence. And 2010, I just felt a transition happening. I really didn't have a spiritual way of living, didn't even have a religious way of living at that time. And I think of those two as, religion was seeking God outside of myself, spirituality was seeking God within. But it started off with religion. I had to start somewhere. So that last time in prison, 2010, I just decided I would dive into the Bible, dive into the scriptures, and see if I can find something in there to help motivate me, maybe give me some hope. I was in a place of, depression at that time.
How old were you at that time? You remember?
So 2010, I was 27, born in 83. So somewhere around there, 27, 28. First prison
You're
sentence was 2000. I mean, I was 20, just kind of turning 21. So from 20 till 27, three
in and
prison
out.
convictions. The Bible was something that kind of gave me some stability while I was during that last time in prison. I ended up coming across this verse, John 14:12. This was so, Jesus in the red letter saying, not only will my disciples do the works that I've done, but they'll do greater things. And again, I can't, 3 times in prison and I'm sitting in a prison cell when I'm reading this. So I can't say that I actually believe that.
Just yeah. That's somewhere you can't. Your outer reality is like,
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. You sure about that? Are you sure that verse
Yeah.
is true?
I don't know. I'll be happy if I just can not go back to prison again. If I can just
Right.
make it past that part, I'll be cool with that. But I had faith, man. Like I was reading about all this stuff and they were saying like this faith of a mustard seed is all you need to move a mountain. And I'm like, okay. I remember praying, man. I just made a sincere prayer and I'm like, if you are who you are, then just lead me. And, there's no place that I won't follow. And that was kind of the beginning of my transformation journey of in and out of the prison cell to seeking this higher knowledge. I didn't know I would be led to Vedic science. So Ayurveda, meditation, yoga. I had none of this in my neighborhood. This wasn't a part of my upbringing. But I remember feeling like, or also reading, God is within. This is the temple of God. And, if I wanted to make a deeper connection with the creator, then I needed to find ways of purifying my body. And so I started with yoga meaning like yoga asanas, the postures. I was starting with the book, Rodney Yee. He was doing this book of 8 weeks towards movement. And it's something I could practice at home because I didn't know where to start. So I started doing the asanas at home. I felt good about it. Like, I don't know if things were changing at that time. It was only 8 weeks, but I felt good. Something inside of me felt like I was on the right path. And then I started going to like a local gym. I wanted to start practicing with other people. And that made me kind of see like, man, this pretty mainstream. I was at Lifetime Fitness and there was
Oh
many
yeah.
people doing it, right?
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
used to
like
work for
joining
Lifetime
classes.
Fitness.
So that felt good too. Like I was going through the process. I'm all about authenticity. And what I was learning at that time is like the purpose of doing asana or yoga asanas is so that you can have deeper experience in meditation. And so that's when I kind of started looking at what meditation was, where could I start with that? And I found like Oprah Winfrey was doing these meditations, 21-day meditations with Deepak Chopra. I didn't know who Deepak was at that time, but I'm like, well, if Oprah's doing it, I'm gonna check it out. And
Did
it was
it.
good. Like I started, that was the path of me kind of getting into yoga, into meditation that led me to a retreat with Deepak, like Deepak Chopra's retreat for Ayurveda.
Yeah.
This was probably like 3 years later. I didn't have the money to do.
Was that the one in California? I know
It
he has
was
some.
in Carlsbad at that time. I
Okay.
think he's in Arizona now. But yeah, that was kind of like my introduction to Ayurveda. I went out there 3 years later, me and my wife Ari, and we went through these panchakarma treatments, and like things really changed from there. I really had a shift, and I felt it was only 10 days that I went through it, but that was the big shift that happened that really started to make it steadfast on this path of Vedic knowledge, Vedic science.